As I said before the Congress over a year and a half ago, Nicole, the former president and his allies were, as of January 6, 2021, a clear and present danger to American democracy.
Former Judge J. Michael Luttig has been ringing the alarm for a while about the threat the twice-impeached, quadruple-indicted Donald Trump poses to our democracy. On his very active social media feed, Judge Luttig points to a lower Colorado court ruling that finds that Trump engaged in an insurrection by inciting the riot at the Capitol on January 6, 2021, but also determined that the constitutional prohibition on holding office after engaging in an insurrection or rebellion did not apply to the office of the presidency. The Colorado Supreme Court now taking on the case as to whether to bar Trump from the state's 2024 ballot. The danger posed by Trump has inspired Luttig to band together with other legal scholars to form the, quote, Society for the Rule of Law Institute, formerly known as Checks and Balances. In their op-ed in the New York Times, they write, quote, we need an organization of conservative lawyers committed to the foundational constitutional principles we once all agreed upon: the primacy of American democracy, the sanctity of the Constitution, and the rule of law. Joining me now, former federal judge of the United States Court of Appeals of the Fourth Circuit, Judge J. Michael Luttig. Judge, it's an honor to have you on the show. I guess my first question to you would be this. We don't really just need conservative lawyers, right? We need all lawyers to pledge to uphold the United States Constitution. So in an article that you wrote, you said something that I found to be so startling. You said the growing crowd of grifters, frauds, and conmen that are willing to subvert the Constitution and long-established principles of the whims of political expediency, the actions of these conservative Republican lawyers are increasingly becoming the new normal. For a group of lawyers sworn to uphold the Constitution, this is an indictment of the nation's legal profession. How do you get those conservative lawyers to stop doing Trump's dirty work?
Thank you for having me on with you this morning, Katie. In recent weeks, the former president has virulently escalated his contemptuous rhetorical attacks on the institutions of law and democracy in our country. The purpose and the intent of these attacks is to delegitimize these institutions in the eyes of the American people, in anticipation of his campaign for the presidency as the Republican nominee, but also to serve his own purposes as he faces criminal trials in multiple jurisdictions. The former president, unfortunately, has largely succeeded in doing exactly that over the past few years. He's delegitimized, in the eyes of the American people, the institutions of law and democracy. Millions of Americans today no longer believe in their democracy, their elections, and their institutions of democracy and law. Today, we see the former president is viciously attacking the federal courts and even the individual judges who will preside over his cases in an effort to delegitimize the federal courts and the state courts and the judges who hold office in the judiciaries. The prohibitively high cost to the nation at this point, though, is that over the past 3 years, if not longer, the former president has normalized his behavior and his delegitimizing and dehumanizing rhetoric into our political culture, where it will stay forever. This is one of the reasons that my colleagues and I formed the new Society for the Rule of Law. We believe that the legal profession is uniquely positioned and uniquely obligated to support and defend American democracy and the rule of law. At this particular moment in our history, these are the causes of our times.
Judge Luttig, the biggest bone that I have to pick is with the lawyers, the loyalist lawyers that I call the enablers. They're the ones that legitimized the filings that are made that you and I would look at and say that that just doesn't pass any type of constitutional legal muster. They're the ones that go to court and they stand up in front of the members of the judiciary in federal and state court, and they make arguments that are not in good faith. What obligation do the bar associations, the state bars, et cetera, the federal bars, what obligations do they have to police this type of conduct? Because I humbly submit to you, I think without these lawyers, somebody like Donald Trump couldn't do half the stuff that he does.
Well, Katie, the legal profession and the bar associations and others similarly situated have the highest obligation in their histories, frankly, to police, if you want to call it, the legal profession. Many Americans throughout our history joke about lawyers, but the legal profession is a noble profession. But as with any organization, and certainly any profession, the nobility of that profession depends upon the individual members. Here, individual lawyers around the country over these many years now have not represented the Constitution and the rule of law in the way that we who've formed the new Society for the Rule of Law believe they should have. And I'm also co-chair of the American Bar Association Task Force with former Homeland Security Chief Jeh Johnson. And that task force also is going to turn its attention to the legal profession, as it ought to do, and address these problems at the national level as well.
Judge Michael Luttig, it's an honor to have you on the show. We've got to have you back so we can talk about what's happening in Colorado, Section 3 and the 14th Amendment. But thanks for being here this morning. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Katie.